From our studios here in Accra, hello, good evening, and welcome to Joy News Prime. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125, and around the world, we are on myjoyonline.com. I am Carlos Kaloni.
And I'm Faustina Safo. Tonight, Parliament declares Kpandai seat vacant, rendering former Member of Parliament Matthew Yindam a persona non grata, and in weeks of intense political wrangling between the majority and minority.
Also tonight, utility tariff hikes spark backlash with a minority in Parliament and Trade Union Congress demanding an immediate suspension of the implementation. This is Joy News. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism.
It's a good time to take a seat and please be our guest.
Let's begin from Parliament because the House has formally declared the Kpandai seat vacant, rendering former MP Matthew Yindam a persona non grata. This follows the expiration of the Speaker's moratorium, ending weeks of intense political wrangling between the majority and the minority. This means the Kpandai constituency is now without a representation, and a by-election is expected to be held to fill the vacant seat. On your screen is the transmission from the Clerk of Parliament to the Electoral Commission. And there it reads, the exercise of the power conferred and the duty imposed on the Clerk to Parliament by Article 1125 as amended of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, as amended I, Ebenezer Ahuma Jetro, the Clerk to Parliament, do hereby formally notify you of the occurrence of a vacancy in the membership of Parliament, occasioned by the order of the High Court, Tamale, for a rerun of the Kpandai parliamentary elections, given on the 24th day of November 2025. This notification is pursuant to the service of a court order on the Clerk to Parliament as the fourth respondent in the suit numbered NRTL HC E132225.
Well, let's explore this further and bring in the legal counsel for the minority in Parliament, John Daku. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. I'd like to start with the initial reaction of the minority to this vacancy.
Shocking as it gets, we were not expecting this, especially when various processes have been filed before courts, one at the Court of Appeal and one at the Supreme Court. We thought that the Clerk to Parliament will exercise some restraints, in writing to the Electoral Commission. But here we are. I am completely shocked by this decision.
And what happens to your case in court?
Well, I mean, the case progresses. The one in the Supreme Court, which is seeking to quash the judgment of the court on the basis that the judge wrongfully assumed jurisdiction in that matter. I think the plaintiff requested for 16th of December to be heard. Now, at the Supreme Court, you may suggest it, but normally they don't go according to your suggestion. But if they are plea to be heard on the 16th of December is heard, then I believe that sometime next week, our courts will hear the arguments of the Honorable MP, especially on the assumption of jurisdiction in that matter, and the court will have to make a decision.
But seeing that the seat is now declared vacant, what then will be the outcome, even if the court rules in your favor?
Well, I mean, this declaration is pursuant to the judgment of the court dated 24th November. That court, in the eyes of the Supreme Court, is an inferior court. So if the Supreme Court declares the judgment and And all the subsequent processes, if the Supreme Court declared as null and void, all the subsequent processes will have to stop. And so once the Supreme Court makes a decision, for instance, and agrees with the plaintiff in that case that the court wrongfully assumed jurisdiction, then all these processes, that is the order of the court and the letter to Clerk of Parliament, will be rendered null and void.
Thank you so much, John Darko.
You're welcome.
Well, to some other story, the recent increase in utility tariffs has sparked outrage, with a minority in Parliament and the Trades Union Congress demanding an immediate suspension of the implementation. Now, the Public Utility Regulatory Commission, PURC, announced a 15.9% increase in water tariffs and a 9.8% increase in electricity tariffs, effective January 2026. The minority is questioning the reason behind the increment, citing positive trends in major factors influencing upward adjustment. My colleague James Aveji has more.
The minority on the Energy Committee have become the latest to criticize government increment in water and electricity tariff. At the press conference here in Parliament, the minority insisted that with the Ghana cedi's appreciation or depreciation forming major part of reasons for increment, government has no business increasing the tariff when the cedi is currently appreciating against foreign major currencies.
Today, we all know FX is down. So if FX as a component of the tariff, major component is down, inflation, which is also a major component, is down, why are you increasing tariffs?
The ranking member, George Kwame Abuaje, describes the increment as a poor government decision and failed leadership as they demand an immediate suspension of the increment.
The minority stands firmly with Ghanaian workers, households, small businesses and industries struggling to survive. We will continue to use every legitimate parliamentary tool to demand fairness, transparency and accountability in the management of the nation's utilities. Our position remains firm and non-negotiable. This tariff hike must be reversed immediately, and measures must be taken to protect consumers and sustain businesses.
The members of the committee on the minority side have vowed to use every parliamentary means available to them to force government hands to rescind the decision. From Parliament House here in Accra, I am James Saveji for Joy News.
Now, whilst the minority is questioning the rationale behind the increase, the Trades Union Congress fears the increment will worsen the economic situation of Ghanaians, saying it will resist any tariff increment that will erode the 9% wage adjustment. Kenneth Jesse has more.
According to the TUC, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission rushed the tariff announcement even though discussions with Labour were still ongoing. The TUC is therefore demanding that government immediately suspend the tariff hikes.
Following our meeting this afternoon, the TUC has resolved as follows. 1. In the spirit of fairness and mutual respect for our social partnership, we demand that government suspends the announced tariff increases. B. Government and PURC should, as a matter of priority, immediately engage as agreed to exhaust the consultative process.
The Trades Union Congress is warning that the recently announced utility tariff increases risk of wiping out the 9% wage adjustment scheduled for workers in 2026.
Leadership of TUC wishes to assure Ghanaian workers that it will resist any tariff increases that would erode the mega 9% government wage adjustment unless government comes back to the negotiation table to top up the 2026 wage adjustment.
The union says it will announce its next line of action if government refuses to heed to their calls. From the TUC's press hall, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Away from that, contractors working on the Pokuase-Nsawam road say a critical stretch will be opened to traffic in 4 days. The Ofanko White House section, currently undergoing asphalting, has caused heavy congestion in recent days. Lead project manager, Engineer Abdullahi Muhammad, tells Joy News they are fast-tracking work to ease the pressure.
Last week, the president was here on Wednesday. That was the 3rd of December. And that time we had done 77% complete. Okay. Right, so from last week Wednesday, we are just doing some work. We are here to quantify the percentage. But as of last week Wednesday, the percentage of work was 77%. Yes, so we are on course.
And are we still working with a timeline to communicate it to government? Are you confident about, finishing works within the timeline?
Yeah, hopefully we are working with the rate at which we are working. If without any force majeure, like the act of God, excessive weather patterns that may hinder some few progresses, we are working towards the completion of it. And this trade that we are doing in the next 4 days, we should be able to finish the asphalt works, and then before we open the traffic, we'll have to put on the line marking so that we can dedicate each carriageway with their driveways. So we don't want to block again, come and finish at a certain point and then go back and block again. We don't want to do that. We are approaching Christmas as well, so we have to be very careful about the traffic that we get in this area.
Well, away from that, police in the Bono region have arrested 8 suspects, including 2 ex-convicts believed to be behind coordinated robberies across several communities. The suspects were picked up in separate intelligence-led operations in areas including Brekum and other areas in the Bono region. The Bono regional correspondent Precious Semabo has more in the following report.
Attacks on the deplorable Brekum-Drobu Road and surrounding communities have long been a worry for commuters and residents. But the Bono Regional Police Command, at a press briefing in Sunyani, says it has made a major breakthrough with the arrest of 8 suspects aged between 18 and 47, including 2 ex-convicts. The suspects are alleged to have been involved in robberies on the Brekum-Drobu Road, Brekum and nearby communities, and at Nkrankwanta in the Doma West District. Police say the gangs also steal motorcycles and tricycles, which they move to and from neighboring Côte d'Ivoire. DCOP Joshua Copson is the Bono Police Commander.
Federal police investigations have established that the attempted robbery was carried out by a 5-member robbery gang led by Johnson Amponsa Kwame Diewu. During separate interrogations, suspects Kwafu Samuel and Shadrach Owusu confessed to their involvement in the attack. They further admitted involvement in several other robbery attacks, particularly in the Mankessim area.
While some suspects have been granted police inquiry bail, others are expected back in court on December 15 and December 22 as investigations continue. But DCOP Copson assured the public of their safety and appealed for more community support in the fight against crime.
The Bono Regional Police Command wishes to assure the public that efforts are ongoing to identify and arrest the remaining accomplices who are currently at large and to recover other illicit weapons used in the commission of these crimes.
Precious Semabo, Joy News, Sunyani.
Well, Precious Semabo joins us live on Joy News Prime with more on this. Precious, you've been doing your digging and also engaging residents. What's their reaction to this arrest?
Well, so the residents are particularly relieved and excited that now they can go about their normal activities without having to look at their shoulders, particularly on the Brekum-Jinejene Drobo Sampa Road. A lot of criminal activities has been reported in the past 2-3 months thereabout. And this news, as we gather from Brekum and Jinejene and commuters on that stretch, are really happy that the police have been able to make this breakthrough. And it comes as a relief for them, and especially going into the Christmas activities. A lot of movement, market women, businessmen and women would want to travel in and around the region, and for them to be assured by the police that they are really patrolling the major roads and apprehending these criminal gangs comes as a big relief for the residents and commuters.
Thank you so much, Precious.
Well, still on crime, police in the northern region have arrested 3 men linked to a kidnapping in Wapuli in the Saboba district. Officers rescued the 42-year-old victim after a gun battle and recovered part of the ransom demanded. The suspects are in custody while a 4th man is on the run with gunshot wounds. Let's get onto Zoom and speak to the Northern Regional Police Commander, DCOP Wisdom Lavoy. Grateful for your time. What more can you tell us about the 4th suspect who escaped with those gunshot wounds? You may have to unmute so we hear what you're saying.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening to your cherished listeners. Northern Regional Police make a breakthrough in the kidnapping case. And I would like to say that Northern Regional Police Command, through an intelligence-led operation on Saturday, 6th of December, 2025, arrested 3 suspects in Bukaka, a village along the Dimbilayen district of the Eastern Corridor. Yes, so the suspects, Haruna Seidu, Amidu Bandi, Osman Bandi, after the 4 suspects were arrested in the gun battle with the police at community Wapuli, the Yendi district. In fact, we had a distress call about this kidnapping case on the 2nd of December 2025, and the suspects demanded a ransom of 100,000 from the victim's family after kidnapping a 42-year-old man, which will be a condition for his release. So upon the receipt of this information, police dispatched a team of 5 police officers from the rapid PID, regional PID, to Wapuli on a surveillance in order to rescue the old man. So on a Friday, 5th December 2025, the team successfully rescued the victim after a gun battle with the suspects. In fact, it happened when the victims' families actually produced the ransom, during which the PID team laid the surveillance.
DCOP, forgive me for cutting in, but where is the victim now?
The victim is receiving medical treatment because he has some injuries on the body because in the course of the gun battle, earlier before the gun battle, he had already sustained some injuries from the suspects.
Right. So what other measures are you taking to ensure, clamp down on criminal activities in the region?
There are a lot of measures we have already put in place. They are working well. We have our PID always having a briefing with the regional police commander every morning as to what to do. We have a lot of informants who have been calling in, providing information that are relevant. We have the signal bureaus who are also working hand in hand with the police to have those numbers tracked for us. And a lot more people are buying into the ideas of the police, and for that matter, are offering relevant information necessary for the breakthrough that we are currently seeing.
All right, thank you so much. Finally, any information on the 4th victim, briefly?
Currently, as I speak to you now, there are people who are working around the clock to get the fourth. And then there are other people, not only the fourth person, but there are other people who are also connected in similar cases. They are working around the clock to get them arrested for us.
The suspect I meant, actually. Well, thank you so much for those details.
That and Accra High Court has thrown out Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Benin, Busiaku, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi's request for further disclosures in his Summary Boy case. The judge ruled that his demand for additional documents had no basis. Fatao Bayaga has more in the following report.
Chairman Wontumi, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, is back in court today in relation to the Summary Boy concession case. In this case, Wontumi is facing charges for granting mining activities in his concession without the necessary ministerial approval. The last time the court sat on the issue, lawyers for Chairman Wontumi, led by Andy Apiakubi, told the court that the prosecution should disclose some further details or documents to help in this particular case. The court then adjourned the case to today, and in today's case, the presiding judge, after listening to the arguments by both Wontumi's lawyers and the prosecution led by the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Ramsai, dismissed this particular application. Despite that the application was dismissed, Chairman Wontumi's lawyers say they are happy with the court's decision.
Though the court said that the documents we were looking for were irrelevant as per the Attorney General's submission, we are confident that same will not be tendered or relied on during the trial, and we achieved the purpose for which we filed the motion. So we are very happy this morning that there is no proof of conveyance. There is no proof of ownership of those equipment coming from Chairman Wontumi. So these were the positions that we sought in our application. Indirectly, we have gotten them. What it means is that the Attorney General cannot bring any surprise of a document purportedly authored by Chairman Wontumi to the said Henry Inkum. And that Attorney General can also not bring any document proving ownership of Chairman Wontumi in respect of those ammunitions that the police purportedly seized on site.
Away from the Ghana has deployed troops to Benin as part of an emergency ECOWAS security activation following an attempted coup in the country. The Economic Community of West Africa State, ECOWAS, reactivated its security protocol on Sunday, December 7, 2025, with Ghana among the first countries to move personnel as part of the regional rapid response mechanism. This swift action follows the attempted coup in Benin, where a group of soldiers led by Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigri announced on state television that they had removed President Patrice Talon and suspended the constitution. Now, security analyst Dr. Festus Obin joins us via Zoom to explore this developing story. Thank you so much for your time here on Joy News Prime. First of all, what do you make of Ghana's involvement in this particular deployment of troops to Benin?
Much. I think that Ghana is part of ECOWAS. And if you look at our constitution, I think around Article 40 or so, which talks about international relations, it talks about Ghana's adherence to international treaties and also protocols and conventions it has signed on to. And as a member of ECOWAS, when there are situations within the sub-region that requires member states to provide troops for deployment, all member states, including Ghana, are obliged to provide those troops or support to support ECOWAS intervention. So I think it is within that context that Ghana is providing these troops to the ECOWAS standby force.
Well, concerns have been raised about accoutrement, equipment for the military back home here in Ghana. This is going to add some cost to the military's expenditure. Should we be concerned about that as a country?
Well, I think that I mean, site deployment, obviously, it comes with costs, implications. But first of all, one of the issues I personally have is a kind of assessment that has been done to inform this decision to deploy and what kind of activities, these troops are going to undertake in Benin. Is it going to be VIP protection? Is it going to just be protection of key institutions and all that, which will not require a lot of heavy equipment or a lot of financial burden onto the country? We don't have a clear picture of all these situations. So it is very difficult to actually determine how much this is going to cost Ghana and also to cost the ECOWAS. But of course, as a member of ECOWAS, when some of these situations happen, we are all, as member states, required to provide that kind of support to the country. But my concern is what assessments were done to inform this intervention, because if the situation was complex and volatile, it also has implications for our own, the safety and security of our personnel. But in this context, I am quite not sure.
Okay.
What actually informed this deployment.
All right. We'll leave it here. Thank you so much for your time.
Let's head now to the Ashanti region, because a circuit court in Bekwai has again pushed back the trial of employees of Idel Metallium Resources accused of brutally assaulting a journalist and the investigative team at Mansu Esumenya. The case has now been adjourned to April 15, 2025 after the defense filed an appeal at the Obuasi High Court. Lawyers for the accused successfully urged the circuit court to halt proceedings while the appeal is heard. My colleague Nana Wachi Yadum was in court today. He joins us live with more. And what else happened in court today?
Well, firstly, it was all about the argument on the stay of proceedings pending the application before the Obuasi High Court on the case of assault against the four multimedia journalists. Today, the Bekwai Circuit Court adjourned the case to the 15th of April 2026, pending the outcome of the proceedings that will be held at the Obuasi High Court. What we're expecting is that the Attorney General will be filing his case at the Obuasi High Court while the proceedings continue at the High Court in Obuasi, and also the Defense Counsel will also bring up their case or make their case at the High Court as well. So before the 15th of April 2026, we are expecting the High Court to fasten its proceedings on this appeal application before it, and then we'll hear from the Attorney General, who is going to be in defense of the multimedia crew, and also counsel for the defendants, who will also raise their arguments in courts.
Thank you so much, Anna.
You're still watching Joy News Prime with us here, Carlos Caloni, as well as
Osina Safo. Still to come, there's growing frustration in Mankessim over Parliament's delay in ratifying the Ewoya mining lease. We'll give you details of that when we return from this quick turn, because residents are threatening to hit the street. On Joy News Prime to other stories now.
Well, tensions are rising in Mankessim as the residents accuse Parliament of dragging its feet on the Ewoya lithium project. The residents say they will hold massive demonstrations if the delay continues. Traditional leaders are struggling to hold tensions down, appealing to President John Mahama to fulfill his campaign promise and ensure the lease is ratified. Emmanuel Giveno has more in today's episode of Hope and Pause, the Lithium Promise.
The freeze on all developments remains in force within the Mankessim Ewoya enclave. Residents are still waiting for Parliament to ratify the Ewoya lithium mining lease. The delay leaves families unsure of what comes next, and many are turning the frustration towards traditional leaders who asked them to cooperate 2 years ago. The chief linguist for the Mankessim traditional area, Kwame says he supports the project, but the slow parliamentary process now places all the pressure on traditional authorities.
Na omana asanya fosa yentumi nsisi oman we japade mo ntie jatu ra onkoro na mo nso so ada se so kwanete ano oman ye nyantu osa wo kwen wa ba sisi ya mi aso adan me ya adwuma me ya hwe na ada ya sister rara no so ade onpufi.
Paramount chief of the Nkusukum traditional area, Nana Okesi Esando the 9th, says he is now managing rising agitations almost every week and has had to step in several times to stop residents from demonstrating.
And as I sit here, I tried my possible best as on my hand to avert most of them by appealing to the people who wanted to demonstrate.
The chiefs can only hold back anger for so long. And if Parliament continues delaying the ratification, traditional leaders may soon struggle to calm residents who feel their future has been put on pause. Osajefo Amanfo Edu the 6th is the paramount chief of Mankessim traditional area.
So the aspect of the majority and the aspect of the stranded assets, they've all turned in your favor. Do something now.
For now, chiefs will continue to ask residents to remain patient. Emmanuel Chivenu, Joy News, Central Region.
Away from that, let's head now to the Ashanti region, where Kumasi remains sharply split over the country's direction under the new NDC administration. Exactly 1 year after the general election, while some hail ongoing road projects and a stabilized city as proof that changes taken root, others insist the promised relief is yet to reflect in their pockets. Love FM's Clinton Yeboah reports.
Only a year ago, Ghanaians went to the polls to cast their ballot in the presidential and parliamentary elections. This particular elections brought a new government from the NPP government to the current NDC administration. The conversation we are having today on the streets of Kumasi is to assess government's performance and citizens' reflection on the outcome of this election.
I'm very glad I voted for a change in government because so far there are changes we are seeing. There are a lot of developmental projects that are going on. Ghanaians are being positive about the new government, and personally I would say that I have seen things that I am excited about, so it's good.
Do you think our democracy is in good hands?
Oh yes, democracy is in a very good hands.
Oh, Konesa, and yes, democracy, yes, I know, yes, I know, question,
This is not what they promised us. We sell and trade with no sales.
I say, or no, a dollar Nissan man, a coffin say that, but and reflect or yen nipana ya to mind and reflect or so anything.
We haven't seen a government that reduces prices of goods and services. They say they have, but we don't see the reflection in our pockets. I've been buying things the same prices. Drivers have only seen reduction in fuel prices, but goods are still hiked. These assessments from citizens on government's performance a year on places a renewed responsibility on governments on the work yet to be done. For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah, Kumasi.
Well, in world news, the World Health Organization says at least 114 people, including dozens of children, have been killed after drones struck a hospital and a kindergarten in Sudan. WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus called the attack senseless. Sudan's army and medical groups are accusing the Rapid Support Forces of carrying out the strikes in Kalogi in South Kordofan. Now, the attack comes as fighting intensifies across the region already at the center of Sudan's civil war.
Elsewhere, 2 more people have been arrested over a violent robbery at Heathrow Airport, and that injured at least 21 people. A 24-year-old man and a 23-year-old woman are in custody suspected of robbery, assault and conspiracy. The attack, though thought to involve pepper spray, left a 3-year-old girl among the injured. The police say the assault at Terminal 3 is being treated as isolated and not linked to terrorism.
Well, up next is Showbiz, and guess who is back? When we return, you get to know.